Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben. I got a brand new bourbon from Bardstown on the bar. Let's get into it. All right, so on the bar tonight, we've got, bam, this is Bardstown Origin Series, Bottled in Bond. So this is a new one to me, and in a way, this review is kind of crowdsourced because I put out a list video maybe a month or so ago of my top available bourbons on the shelf, and a lot of people commented that I should try Bardstown Origin Series. So Bardstown actually just became available in Minnesota for the first time this year. Pretty recently, within the last couple months, from what I can tell. I'm finally just starting to see it on shelves now. So I don't have much experience with this brand. I've had a couple of the Fusion series ones and enjoyed them, but this one is actually, the Fusion series was kind of a blend of, you know, lower age Bardstown stuff mixed with like, you know, MGP, stuff like that. This is actually their distillate. So this is actually a wheated bourbon, and the stats on it, 6-year age stated, 68% corn, 20% wheat, 12% malted barley. So this should be interesting because this is really the first time I've ever had a product from them that's just their own distillate. So this is just an entirely new brand for me. But yeah, a lot of people, like I said, commented on that video that I put out saying that I need to try Bardstown Origin. So Bardstown Origin is a series, by the way, that they have like a bourbon, which I think is like 92 or 96 proof. They've got the Bottled in Bond wheated. I don't know if the regular bourbon is wheated or not. Then they've got a rye, and then they have a high wheat wheater at 104 proof. So there's a few different ones. I don't think anybody specified in the comments which one I should try, but I figured at the $50 price point that this one runs, Bottled in Bond, I'd give it a shot. Let's get into the nose. Man, ton jumping out of the nose. The wheat definitely comes through, which I like. I love a good wheated bourbon. I like it when you get that kind of bready sort of note, and this definitely has that. It's almost a little bit like that bready note is coming across as like a little bit of like almost like burnt toast, but in a good way, if that makes any sense. Maybe that's just like the mixture of the barrel char and that bready wheat note. But really, really nice on the nose. Some nice caramels, kind of standard bourbon notes, but really, really bold. I would guess just on the nose that this is higher than 100 proof, and not because of an ethanol, you know, sharpness coming off the nose, just the wave of aromas coming off the nose. Well, let's get into the palate, see what happens. Cheers. First sip of that, really, really nice. I'm getting some barrel char on this. That's where I think that burnt toast on the nose came from. There's a nice like oak spice bite to it on the palate. That bready note kind of transfers to the palate, but there's a lot of nice sweetness with it too. On that first sip, there was a really, really nice balance of sweetness and spice, which I love in a bourbon, when you kind of get the best of both worlds. Kind of like a spicy bourbon and like a sweet bourbon. When you get one that kind of walks the line between those two, me personally anyway, I find that really nice. Actually, after having a sip of it, the nose is changing a little bit. Sometimes when I'm doing these reviews, I realize that like once I get to the tasting portion of it, I'm still sitting here nosing it the whole time. Some of that's just habit. I've got the whiskey glass in my hand. But some of it is almost like kind of, once you taste it, then you go back to the nose and it almost kind of, the two complement each other a little bit. And speaking of tasting it, let's go in for another one. Man, that is really, really good. That's excellent, actually. Thank you, everyone who recommended this, because I love this. At 100 proof, this has a ton of flavors, and it kind of has just, it's got all the classic bourbon flavors that you want, but then there's something kind of unique about it in a way, and I think it's that wheated kind of bready note that complements that sweetness and spice really, really well. At the $50 price point, this is an absolute recommend. I think it drinks flavor-wise higher than its proof, but it doesn't have the alcohol bite of something higher than 100 proof. And so if you're looking for something really, really rich in flavor, without the extra ethanol that comes with like a cask strength, this is a great option. Rich in flavor, that's probably the best way to describe this. This is really, really rich. It's really kind of, the flavors are like thick, if that makes any sense at all. It's complex in its own kind of interesting way, in the sense that like, it's not like there's a million different things going on, but it's almost kind of hard to describe what I'm getting that makes it unique. Like there's so many classic bourbon flavors, bourbon notes going on here, but there's like a little bit of a spin on it. And I think that makes this a really, really interesting bourbon. I am gonna love making my way through this bottle, because I have a feeling that this is gonna be one of those ones where maybe the bourbon doesn't change every time you have it, but maybe you just notice a little something new, like, oh, that's that note I was getting that I couldn't quite put my finger on. I'm tasting this for the first time on camera, so, you know, sometimes when I review a bourbon, I've had it before. A lot of times I haven't, but this one is especially throwing me for a loop, just because, I don't know, there's just something about this one. I absolutely love it, so I'm really, really glad that everybody commented about this. To be perfectly honest, this really, really makes me want to find a bottle of that 104 proof, I can't remember what it's called, like highest wheat or higher wheat or whatever it's called. Basically just has a higher wheat content. This is, what did I say at the beginning? 20% wheat. I think the higher wheat content one was like 30 something. So yeah, I'm sold on the Origin series just based on this one.
Yes, I can see that.
So I'm looking forward to having a pour, maybe two, of this later on tonight, because I'm super impressed with this right off the bat. So I would recommend checking this out if you haven't already. If you have, leave a comment. Let me know if you're one of the people that said that I should try the Bardstown Origin series. Is this the one you meant, or the other ones? Because I'm definitely going to try them all now. But let me know if this is the one you were talking about, because if it was, totally agree. If it wasn't, you got to get out and try this one. So again, 100% recommend on this one. This one being Bardstown Bourbon Company Origin Series Bottled in Bond. On the bourbon note, I'm Ben. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the things. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.